Hey guys, Chris from Hockey Tutorial here, and today we're going to be taking a look at a prototype of a brand new handheld skate sharpener called Blade Barber. Now, sharpeners or handheld sharpeners aren't something that are new to this channel. You know that we've looked at them in previous videos. They normally fall into two categories. That's a device that's used to extend your edge life in between trips to the pro shop, or it's a device that could be used, for example, like a Y-stick, to be able to repair any defects that you might experience just through the wear and tear of coming off and on the ice, or even being on the ice playing hockey. You could step on a bit of exposed concrete at your arena and lose an edge. Things like Y-sticks or some of the other handheld sharpeners that we've looked at might be able to get you out of a tight spot. But none of these devices have become a substitute to actually needing to go get your skates sharpened until we've taken a look at this new device, the Blade Barber. Now, the Blade Barber is a proper handheld skate sharpener that effectively could be an alternative to going to the store to getting your skates sharpened. Now, if you're wondering why anybody would ever want to do that, it's because a surprisingly large number of players live in locations that don't have pro shops, that don't have arenas that can properly sharpen skates. Now, some of the players that we've met in the Himalayan mountains in India, a lot of the players that we met in Nairobi in Kenya, which is in East Africa, these players don't have access to hockey stores, or they don't have access to rinks that are able to sharpen their skates properly and evenly. So having your own handheld portable skate sharpener that will allow you to do this could be extremely critical for some of these players. And aside from this, if you think about when you travel, when we go, for example, to Finland or Sweden and play pond hockey, we can take a portable skate sharpener with us because we're very fortunate enough to have them. But if you're rinkside in the middle of the Baltic Sea and you've lost an edge because you've been skating on sea ice, which is very rough, it has salt in it, all of those elements that are bad for your runners, there's nothing that you can do. But if you have one of these devices that effectively could be an alternative to sharpening your skates, it doesn't matter where you are. You can literally pull it out of a bag, take it out of your pocket, and sharpen your skates blades regardless of where you are, right by the rink or right by the ice. Now, in terms of the construction of the Blade Barber, it's incredibly straightforward. The body of the Blade Barber has a pocket for your thumb and also your fingers to be able to go into. So it's compact, but it's still very comfortable to hold. I will mention that this isn't the sort of device that you can use to sharpen your own skates while they are on your feet. It might be better to grab some help from a teammate, a coach, parents, or of course take your skates off and then sharpen them. Now, when I'm sharpening my skates, I like to put them down onto a completely flat surface to ensure that I can minimize how much the skate moves around so I can get as consistent and as even a sharpen on both of my skates on all of the edges. The way I do this is that I'll lay my skate flat onto a hard surface and I'll use two pucks that I'll place around the heel section of the holder of my skates to ensure that the skate doesn't wobble around. Because I find when I lay the skates flat on a hard surface, there is a little bit of wobble when I'm trying to sharpen them. So just having two pucks around the heel section of the skates holders minimizes the amount of movement that the skate has, and it makes it a lot easier, a lot smoother for you to be able to get a nice, even, consistent sharpen every single time. Now, I posted a picture of the Blade Barber on Facebook and also on Instagram, and a ton of questions flooded in. And in this video, I'm hoping to answer as many of those questions as I can. Now, the Blade Barber is a proper skate sharpener. The way it's able to do this is that it has a tungsten carbide blade and also a ceramic base plate. The way that the sharpener works is that the ceramic plate aligns your skates, runners, or blades with the tungsten carbide blade inside the Blade Barber. This then shaves the surface of the skate blade, removing material. Very similar to, I guess you could say, maybe a carpenter inside a factory shaving wood or the surface of the wood with a metal blade. Hopefully that gives you an idea of how the device works, but it is shaving the surface of your blade, removing material, giving you that edge back. Now, a big question that came up when I posted an image of the Blade Barber was how it contours to different hollows or different blades from different manufacturers, because you want to make sure that you're getting a nice, even, consistent sharpen with this device. The way that the Blade Barber is able to do this is that it sharpens one edge at a time. So the idea is that you sharpen one edge, flip the skate over, and then sharpen the other edge. Of course, this means that you're going to need to keep note of how many times you pass the Blade Barber over your edges so that you're able to do an even amount of passes on each edge. Now, in terms of how the Blade Barber is able to contour to different types of hollows, this is one of the features of the Blade Barber that I really liked. You can purchase Blade Barbers with different hollows. So currently we have Blade Barbers that are able to do 1/2 inch, 3/8, and also 5/8. So that's probably one of the biggest differences between this device and some of the others that we've seen. A lot of them try and adapt to the different types of shapes of hollows or blades, whereas the Blade Barber is sharpening one edge at a time, and you're able to select which hollow you have and then reapply that hollow to your skate's edges. Now, of course, the main question that I'm sure everyone is waiting to know is, does this prototype of the Blade Barber work? In short, yes. you can definitely feel a significant or a noticeable amount of difference when you have your skate edges slipping out when you're in the middle of a turn. You step out of the ice, you use the blade barber. I'm typically doing sort of 3 to 4 passes on each edge, and I'm noticing a big difference when I get back onto the ice. Now, this being a manual device that you're using, with your hands, there isn't a machine or a motor guiding the amount of pressure or the angle that you put the blade barber onto your skates at. So there's a bit of a learning curve. But this is the sort of device that pretty much any hockey player can get used to using within just a couple of minutes of kind of learning the do's and don'ts of how to do it. Of course, the angle that you place the blade barber on the skates is probably one of the most critical elements. The idea is to get used to being able to place the blade barber completely flat against your skates runners. Now, this is pretty much the only thing that you need to do in terms of worrying about the angle. The blade barber will take care of the rest. Now, in terms of the pressure, of course, we're not machines, so the amount of pressure that you apply while sharpening one edge might be a little bit different to the pressure that you apply sharpening the other edge. This all comes down to a bit of a learning curve of just getting around using the device. The more you use it, the more confident you'll be with it, and of course, the quicker that you'll be sharpening your skates edges. Now, when I first started using the blade barber, it would probably take me about 10 minutes to get my skates sharpened, but right now I'm down to a couple of minutes on each skate. It's a very quick learning curve that you get used to, making sure that you place the blade barber on your skates edges correctly, making sure it's flat, and then doing the best that you can to apply an even amount of pressure on each edge that you sharpen. But of course, it's super important for me to mention that this is a prototype of the device, so there could be a few alterations made before the final version is ready. But as it stands now, if you're wondering if the blade barber does sharpen your skates, yes, it does. In terms of how many sharpens you'll be able to get per blade barber, that's roughly 10 pairs of skates. Of course, if you make a lot of passes per edge or very few passes per edge, you might find that that number goes up and down. It really depends on how you use the device. But I will put some numbers on the screen from Blade Barber directly that will let you know what their suggested optimal passes per blade or per edge will be. I'll pop those on the screen so you can have a look at that, so you have that for reference. And also as reference, each blade barber is currently priced at $50, which in terms of the amount of usage you're getting out of it, and also the portability aspect, I think that's a pretty good price. This device uses a tungsten carbide blade because it won't distort or flatten while the skate's being sharpened. Now, where this benefits you as the player is that the angle that your blades or your runners on the skates come into contact with the sharpener will be the same every single time you use the device. Of course, providing that you follow the instructions and ensure that the device is completely flat while you're sharpening your skate's edges. As a side note, the blade barber is so small that it can fit into the zip bag that I put my tape, my extra laces, my scissors that sits inside my hockey bag. The blade barber is also small enough to fit on your keychain, which means that you'll be able to take it with you everywhere you go. As always, thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end. If you liked this kind of content, looking at prototypes, products that aren't quite finished, that have a few alterations that need to be made, let us know in the comments section because we'd always love to share more, but we just want to make sure that it's something that you want to see. If you want more information on Blade Barber, the link will be down below in the video description so you can find out where it's available, when it's going to be available publicly. Massive thank you to Blade Barber for making this video possible. But if you like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, click on the bell so you get notifications when we post new videos. A big thank you for watching, big thank you to Blade Barber, and we will catch you in the next one. And as a side note, this was just an introduction video taking a look at the prototype. Of course, when Blade Barber is finished, we will make a new video looking at the completed device. But thanks again, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.